girl dick supremacy. Motherfuckers talk about they want the truth. You can't fucking handle the truth.
Moth.
And I'm Siobhan.
And she, they, just like me.
For real.
Hey, girl.
Hey. How was your Mother's Day?
For the folks who don't know, which is 99.9% of y'all, my dad broke his hip right when we were getting ready to record our last episode with Natalie Puff, Laughed at London. Natalie was giving us her rundown of her super busy day and all the things she was doing to get ready for her partner's birthday, and she was gonna bake this delicious dessert, and I was listening in, and she was going on about all the things she did today and how productive she was, and my phone rings, and it's my mom. Let me go ahead, pause this, mute my mic, and answer the phone, and the poor guy slipped in the garage, fell, and broke his right hip, but he had a successful surgery that night, which is very good to hear. He had his first round of physical therapy, which also went very well. So we're on the road to recovery, but with all that, I really didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
We don't typically hang out on Mother's Day, but we do kind of do a thing around Mother's Day where we'll go eat and whatever, but we don't normally make a big thing of it. So I just didn't figure to act any different this year. So yeah, I don't have any great story there, really, besides my dad breaking his hip, which isn't a great story, but it is a story, and it's something to share. How was yours?
Before I get into that, I just want to say I hope your dad has a good, fast recovery.
Thank you.
I hope that all comes together. But my Mother's Day was really good, My relationship with my mom is really just vastly improving,
That's
the
good.
past, year or so. We got some lunch at a fancy fish restaurant, a seafood place. And then after that, we had some drinks together and talked, and I spent the night, and I watched Wicked for the first time with her.
Oh yeah, you hadn't seen it before that.
Yes, I had not seen it before, so it was incredible. Defying Gravity probably has changed my life, as a song.
It is great, yeah.
It got onto my on repeat so fast. I love it so much, and... it was a great film, and then it was also nice to just spend time with my mom like that, and chat with her about stuff and feel connected to her, and also to just feel deeply accepted by her, which is a very powerful thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've talked about it here and there, but our relationship was never strained, so to speak, but it has only gotten stronger over the past year, especially with her being more, I don't want to say accepting, because I think she was always kind of, I was going to say she was always accepting.
There was some back and forth. Yeah.
There was a little back and forth. But I think it's really good now. Like I'd mentioned before, she's gotten to the point where she's kind of bragging to people if they knew she had a kid but hasn't seen me in a while, she'll take the opportunity to go oh, well, they transitioned, and kind of go into that, and that's very fun.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
We still want to have a girls' day, so to speak. I think it's also different because, you and her don't really get to see each other too much, right?
Yeah, that's 100% true. I'm in the field a lot, and then when I'm not in the field, I tend to, need to either, recover or, I want to, do fun things that aren't work-related. We tend to see each other about once a month, sometimes less. This month we saw each other, twice because it was like a celebration for my birthday. We went shopping together, and that was really cool. I think I mentioned that in a previous episode. Or maybe I didn't. Yeah, it was fun. She taught me a lot about how to put outfits together and like color and things like that.
That's right. I saw that tweet. Yeah, I was going to actually ask you more about that. I thought that was so interesting.
Yes, absolutely. We went to this like Goodwill like close by to her. It's in a little bit of a richer part of town, and it's a really good Goodwill. It has like all designer shit all like everywhere, and we found like these 2 incredible purses. We like put together like 3 or 4 outfits and like a couple of like alternative things that would like could mix and match with that. And she just gave me a lot of like interesting like pointers from like a sort of like theoretical perspective, which was really good. Yeah, and she also like got a carrot cake for me, which of course, I mean, big surprise.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say
kind
nothing.
of cake. It's been nice to like spend time with her and see her more frequently, especially because I'm moving, she's moving, and we're not going to be in the same city anymore. So it's like trying to really cherish it while it lasts. And, you know, it's kind of a weird, fraught time for me for a lot of reasons. So yeah, it was really nice to see her.
Yeah, we get more opportunities to see each other. So I guess we don't really like go out of our way to do those things, so the dynamic there is different. And also, like, I'm not putting her on blast here when I say this because she'll be the first to admit it, but I love how your mom is like, oh, like putting outfits together and everything, and meanwhile I'll send pictures to my mom of like outfits I put together, and she'll just be like, I don't know where you got your fashion sense from, but it absolutely was not for me, because she hates clothes shopping. She is not fashion inclined. She hasn't done makeup since before I was born, if I had to guess. Very much surprised by my inclination to lean towards that stuff. Neb was definitely an inspiration in that, but also I did take it upon myself to try to self-teach as much as possible, just to try to be a little less reliant. And I know there's still some degrees where I still definitely do ask for help in some things that I'm not as skilled at yet. But it definitely was a sense of accomplishment to just be able to, like, especially like very recently, I almost shared a makeup picture from early in my transition before I decided to share a picture that was less embarrassing. I know we've kind of talked about it before, but like, there was definitely a period where it was just a lot of self-discovery and exploration and experimenting specifically, which I encourage a lot of people early in their transition to do, even if like you're like staying in for the weekend. Just, you know, try a little makeup thing. Just, you know, like any kind of practice is good. And like I've mentioned before that like I wasn't online super heavy when I was early in my transition, so a lot of people really didn't see a lot of those looks, which is great. But just
I wish I could say the same. I was out all the time and posting every photo, and it was very cringy and embarrassing. But you know what? Experiments and growth and things like that, like you have to start somewhere, and you have to grow. You don't just like, no woman of any stripe comes out of the womb knowing how to do a contour. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you gotta learn that shit yourself, girl. Or don't, because like you said, like your mom doesn't really wear a lot of makeup, and a lot of women don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something that can be very helpful for trans women. I think it helps you, if not pass, at least be read as a woman a lot easier. It can be very nice and affirming, and it can accentuate your beauty, but it is not required. And same thing with like fashion stuff. It's like something that I like and I want to get more into, and I want to learn more about. But that's because I want to learn it. Not because I think it's required. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. A lot of the stuff are just kind of make you feel good. And I think that's ultimately, like, at the end of the day, having fun with it is really, like, some of the most important things, I think. Like, we've talked about passing as a means of survival, obviously. But, like, you're starting your new life. Like, why not just have as much fun and experiment? And, you're not going to learn what your style is right away. It's going to take some trial and error. I saw a reel that was talking about the creator's favorite trans femme, I guess, memes or tropes, and the first one was all pink everything, which I definitely went through, and I'm still kind of in, but just because I really like pink.
Pink is a good color for you.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. Like, my water bottle's pink, my bag is pink, my phone case is pink. Like, I think there was definitely, and I talked about this on the show too, where I worried that people might see that and be like, oh, you're really leaning hard into the high femme because you think you have to. And it's like, no, I genuinely really like pink. And then the second one was all goth everything, which I definitely have my goth days. It's very fun to experiment with that. But yet you do definitely see a lot of trans women have a goth phase, or that just be their style, which I think is so interesting.
Yeah, a lot of trans girls go goth. I think part of that is because, like, sometimes it requires less learning about color. Like, for some people, it's like, oh, well, you just go all black, and then, like, you can have, like, various things that are sort of related to that. I also think that goth women are particularly, like, attractive, and that can be, like, an attractive, like, theme to, like, try.
Yes.
A lot of gothic themes have to do with, like, monsters and stuff. And I think that trans women, like, the way society treats us in many ways, like, feel a little bit monstrous. And, like, finding an interesting way to, like, lean into that and, like, flip it and reverse it, as Missy Elliott would say.
That's an interesting read. I thought you were going out and saying big monster themes because a lot of us are monster fuckers, which isn't wrong either.
Well, yeah, look, that's also related, okay? It's the same thing, but,
it's a sidebar.
Also monster fucking is really big amongst queer women, so just generally, right?
Look, I don't want to get on a whole side note here, a whole little tangent, but, it's just us girls here. Someone recently sent me, like, a monster fucker bingo card. I think but one of them were crossed off.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I gotta say, like, monster fucking, I like kind of, like, ironically making jokes about it, but the only monster that I'm, like, really into is vampires, because vampires are really hot. And I like to be bitten, just saying.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, big same, can relate.
Well, I put together, like, a vampire costume for Halloween, and then I got super sick. So
that's right.
Next year, I'm gonna be a vampire for Halloween, and I already have it together.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Something you touched on in there that I wanted to say, like, I think, at least for me, I don't want to speak for other people, but for me, when I first started dressing in a more gender-affirming way, the styles that I gravitated most towards first were styles that I just found attractive on other people.
That's really common, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've talked about this before, too, of how just, like, you kind of recontextualize the whole thing. And you think of it more of, like Nib and I've had this conversation, that there were a lot of outfits that I saw them wearing before I had transitioned. There were a lot of times where I was very dressed down, very, like, black t-shirt and jeans was basically every outfit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But their outfits were way more flashy and more flamboyant, a lot more bright and colorful. I think we've had the discussion of, like, how much of the clothes that I liked seeing them in were actually just clothes I wish I could wear. Since transitioning, and I've been dressing more flashy and more out there, they've taken the cue of just, okay, well, I'm going to dress more, like, kind of lean into the mask aesthetic.
Boy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And get to explore that aspect of it, but also in a very considerate way of, like, not wanting to take attention away from me.
Yeah.
If we're going out somewhere and I'm dressing really nice, they're like, I want people to notice you. And I'm like, that's really nice.
Aww.
I appreciate that. It's really sweet.
That's a very classic, like, mask femme sort of thing. Like, very common amongst, like, cishet men and women, you know? Like, male fashion tends to be a little more, like, straightforward, where, like, women's fashion tends to be a little more out there. It's also often the case in, like, ballroom dancing, too, where, like, women's movements in ballroom dancing tend to be the more, like, flashy, flamboyant ones. The man is kind of often a, like, grounding element in the motions, right? Me personally, I think a lot of my style, like, I think I definitely did that at first, but I think a lot of my style has sort of always been gravitated more towards, like, what I think looks good on me or what I think, like, accentuates my strengths. And I'm trying to get more and more into that in particular, where, like, finding, like, a style and an aesthetic that works for me, not necessarily one that I like on other people, but one that I think suits me as a person and, like, how I look, you know? It's been a bit of an interesting journey, and that's also one of the reasons why I was happy for my mom to kind of give me some pointers and help with that. I do want to go back to something that we were talking about before, which is monster fucking.
Yes.
Because this week... we're talking about the new Changeline record, The Draw of a New Shape. Yes. Which has some monster fucking themes in it.
Well, okay, if we're talking about sex with death, is that the main thing?
Well, yeah, so there is one song on this record called Sex with Death.
The album itself, if you haven't guessed from the title, it's all about change, and not in a nickname for the artist kind of wave, but there is the theme of the I can and will change. I have the ability to change, but also change is inevitable. I like that is like the baseline kind of theme here. And there's also themes of reclamation, self-empowerment, with the swap between change and damage, which I thought before I had even seen the video, I had seen the little teaser clip a little earlier today. Change is rapping in the foreground, but then there's like another version of her that's like doing the backing vocals in the background. And then when damage takes over, change in the background is like kind of like possessed by damage, which I thought it was really interesting when they do switch in the song, because change acts like she's super pissed off when damage like does her verse. It's like, what the fuck? What are you doing here? This is my song. And it really does kind of feel like she hacked into the song somehow. Like, Change was like, what the fuck are you doing? I was just doing my thing. What are you doing here?
That's so interesting, yeah. And that's, like, another thing, like, with a lot of, like, Changeline's other songs, especially on, like, some of her other singles, she, like, very frequently will, like, have conversations with herself in recordings. And also, this is also true with, like, the, like, TikToks and like Instagram reels that she makes. Like she's often playing with this concept of like having a conversation with herself or talking to herself or interacting with like, you know, other versions of herself, which is very interesting.
It's like presenting the goofy, playful side and also the serious, hard as fuck side.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Changeline has a lot of very different vibes. And that's a big one, is that like she's very sweet, you know? But then, like, she also does a lot of screaming. She's very angry in her lyrics often. And she definitely, like, has a lot of that, like, rapper, like, swagger persona where, like, you know, she's, like, telling people to suck her dick and stuff. Which is really fun. A lot of the other songs on this record are very different from the rest of her discography, which I think is really interesting as a concept. For a record about change, this song is about change, you know what I mean? Like, she really goes in a lot of different directions with her music. And the first song is, like, very, like, you know, it's like a Changeline staple, you know what I mean? It's very interesting.
It definitely sets the tone, and it just kind of, like, is a familiar kind of song to just kind of ease you into it a little bit of just, like, it's kind of like the safe introduction, which I also like that when Damage does pop up and Change is all mad about it. Damage says, Well, it's because I fuck with you, unlike a lot of these other rappers out here. Just like totally like, a lot of people don't fuck with you, but I do, so be happy that I'm here. It's like such a funny little dig.
They have such great chemistry, like...
But another theme of this song, too, which comes up on a few songs, and has in the past, is the theme of just being objectified in music. The part where Damage and Change are going back and forth. Change is shouting in the background, "I'm out of your range." Damage is saying, "I've been changing my ways. I've been saying my grace. I've been climbed out since I climbed out the grave," which could be a little reference.
Great callback. Great callback. Yes, the best Damage song, I think.
Really good.
Grave. Yeah.
Climbing out like all day, but they've been frying my brain, which also I just like others are frying my brain. Like she fucking like really leans into that heavy.
They both have like really great like screams, but they're very different. You know what I mean? Where like Changes is very like high and energetic. I really wish I knew, you know, for like a recovering like Warped Tour girl, I really should know what the different types of screaming is called, but like Damages are very like grovelly and like aggressive, you know, which also kind of defines their styles a little bit. Like they both have those like, they both like use those paints, you know, those colors in their music.
I just think they give off very different energies in general. Like Damage's vibe,
top.
Okay, thanks. I was like, how do I get out of this? Yeah, Damage gives off super major top energy, which again just comes back down to the swag. But it's so funny that you mentioned the Warped Tour vibe, because yeah, I didn't even think about that, but there are so many bands that have the one high-pitched guy and then the one guy who just does all the real guttural growls. Like, there's so many of those.
Yeah, and then some bands do like one or the other. Like, yeah, it's a thing that I know by intuition and experience, but I don't know what it's called. So
yeah, for whatever reason, the only example I could think of right now is the Bunny the Bear. And I wish I could think of which, you know, like one dude had like a bunny mask and the other one had a bear mask, and the bunny guy I think was like the more high pitched guy, and then the bear did the gutturals. Anyway, there's definitely better examples, but that was the only one I could think of right now. But yeah, I think they do embody that energy very good. And just with lines on this where I wanted to quote the I'm a dandelion, giving you luck if you blow me, give a quick suck, but you don't know me. Again, it's just like,
it's fucking great.
The like you can't touch me, pop star in the cut, they gonna miss me. It's like a lot of these lines of just like addressing the objectification that comes up more on songs later. But it's definitely touched on pretty strong here. Unless you're reading along, it's kind of hard to follow because she does go kind of fast. So in a lot of her songs in the past, I haven't really followed along as deeply as I have for this episode. But I know there have been some songs where being ace has come up as a topic of discussion. Or like being in the, what was it, like almost just like a gray area. Like not really sure how to describe it, but just knowing she related to being ace in some capacity.
Changeline is the girl that the famous ContraPoints tweet about like being an asexual slut is about.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I actually think that Change describes herself in a later song as gray ace, which basically just means that like you don't have a ton of interest in sex, but like sometimes you do. But it's like it's like you just have a little bit of a different pattern with it. I also really enjoyed about this song, it feels like a great like rap album opener, and it has like classic like tropes where you talk about like people hitting you up to like make beats for you and stuff. I thought that's really funny. I think that was in one of Damage's parts.
Yeah, where she's talking about like all these people hitting her up and she's like, this shit's whack, I don't want to fuck with you, I don't want to work with you, whatever. But just like classic. they have this connection that it's like, I'll always have time for change, which is like that's really sweet, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love when they do songs together. I think they really like, they have great chemistry together, like on tracks but also on stage. Like they're really cool to see together.
So Sex with Death is...
Well, it's a song about monster fucking, and the monster is death itself.
Yes. So...
What did you think about this?
I'll lead with the quote that I got from Genius, which again is just some Genius user, right? Sex with Death explores the aftermath of sexual abuse and harassment, reflecting on how trauma shapes sexuality. The track delves into survival mechanisms and the struggle to reclaim control, highlighting the complex relationship between pain and desire. The marketing for Sex with Death was right out the gate videos of Change making out very heavily with a woman with skeletal makeup. Like, with the name itself, you knew, okay, Sex with Death, and the chorus is Sex with Death, I'm on the wrong path. Like, you already know it's a different vibe. Like, it's a more sinister, more dark subject matter than what's being led on. Like, always, Change has a way of giving you lyrics that are kind of contrary to what the overall theme is, to kind of mess with it a little bit, make it a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more multi-layered. It's hard to discuss a song like this because you do know that it does come from a place of coming from an abusive situation and trying to work through that and to work into how things work for you. But also, it feels tasteless for me to say some of these lyrics are really hot, though.
You know, most of the verses are just her describing, like, a sexual encounter, you know what I mean? And then it ends with, like, Sex with Death's amazing, which, to me, it's like, sometimes people are bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't call them a bad bitch for nothing, okay? Like, sometimes, sometimes you're with someone not because they're great for you emotionally, but because they're really hot and having sex with them is really fun.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
Do you know one of the French words for orgasm?
Oh, not off the top of my head, but I know what you're gonna say.
Okay, it's la petite mort, which means
the little
death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gray Ace Shorty flying way too fucking high. Stop me not, bitch. I want to see how far she can take on the line for the deadly climax. Sort of referencing that directly.
It's interesting. Again, going back to, like, the promotional material, it just, like, definitely made a very viral kind of video that got spread around a lot, even where, like there were videos made about the response to the video. And then, like, the visualizer is just the whole length of the song slow-mo make-out video to go along with the song. It's like, your girl knows what the fans want. Which, again, it just feels weird to talk about because who knows? Maybe, by some stroke of luck, we can get some first-hand accounts and information on these songs somewhere down the line.
The chorus, I think, is particularly interesting. I'm the only one she liked to foreplay with. It's a ticking bomb before she gets bored with me. It's a dangerous bond. I plead the fifth, but in the catacomb, we feeling so lively. Sometimes things that are really volatile and, insecure and emotionally dangerous, really hot and really fun. Especially for people with ADHD, which is something that, Change has talked about in previous songs. So, I feel you, girl. Yeah, I relate.
And I just wanted to quote the one part for my own. I'ma give her my all, so now she don't want me to stop. We ain't taking it slow-mo. If I talk and don't act, then it's a no-go. So I bark and I bite, I give a whole show.
Yeah.
Just saying.
One of the really fun parts of, like, bottoming for me is, like, being, like, a very, like, enticing thing, an enticing person for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, putting on a show. It's, like, very fun, right?
Oh, yeah. Without going into too much depth, I'm 100% on the same page.
Yep. Yeah.
That is a good bit of the fun for me also, is just... Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, you bark and you bite.
Yeah, I mean, as I twirl my hair with my finger.
My God.
I like to be expressive, is all I'm... It's hot in here. Anyway.
It is also hot in here, but because I unplugged my AC so that it wouldn't, in the hotel room, so that it wouldn't be heard on mic. So, and it's Texas.
Look, folks, don't ever let it be said that your girls don't sacrifice for the love of the game. Because I also turned the air conditioning off or turned it down so it wouldn't come. I'm pretty sure the thermostat says it's 80 in here, but look, folks.
Yeah.
I just want the recording to sound good.
Much like transition, recording this podcast is sometimes an act of sacrifice. And you're welcome. All right, so next song is called 50 Tasks.
Yes.
What do you think about this one?
I like this a lot too. Siobhan, spoiler alert, I liked every song on here a lot.
No way. Me too, actually.
I thought it was a very, very strong album. No skips. Absolutely no skips. I listened to this album twice today.
Yeah, same.
We were thinking about recording yesterday. I listened to it at least once, maybe twice yesterday. It's a very quick album.
Covering rap albums is really hard because it's like, it's pretty short record, but there are more lyrics in this one than in like all of the Left at London songs that we did. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
And for me as like a lyrics girl, like, it was very difficult for me because I was like, oh, it's so much to do. But labor of love, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too inside here talking about going off, but like, that's another reason this show was kind of exhausting to me, was because of how often we would do rap albums.
Yeah. With the Rap Critic? That's crazy.
Right. It's a fucking lot. And for a lot of these, I just kind of like, because we're not, breaking it down, all the lyrics here, we're just kind of giving you the feel of the songs and giving you our highlights here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if we were to go line by line, this episode would be, hours
long. It would
long.
take us 4 hours, yeah. It would be longer than the Transgender Dysphoria Blues episode.
I was just going to say, yeah, it would break a record.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for 50 tasks, the saying I look fit, but down my gut's sick. Been hard to admit, but I'm not okay. Probably why I got a new crush every day. Probably why I want to get pushed to the edge. Really what I crave is getting my revenge.
Girl, that line right there, that is my entire fucking life. That is, I've been really self-reflecting recently, and I'm like, I need to stop, like, using, like, crushes on people as, like, a sort of, like, dopamine, like, loop, right? To, like, fix myself. I really, what I need instead is a fucking Adderall prescription and, like, therapy.
I ain't gonna say that when I read that lyric, I thought of you immediately, but I mean,
if the shoe fits, all right. If the beautiful stiletto heels fit my giant tranny feet, then like. This song was deeply relatable to me because a lot of it is about like sort of struggling with ADHD and work and success and being polyamorous, being online too. That's like my life. That's like such a huge struggle for me right now. Like I'm personally experiencing a lot of like success in my career. This podcast is growing. The socials are growing. That's all like, a deep passion for me. I'm also polyamorous. So like I like invest a lot of time in that. And in fact, the line, still I'm in love and I know that it sucks. Motherfucker, polyamory. They say lucky motherfucker, but you don't know the amount of work, motherfucker. Pleasing everyone but me, a struggle, motherfucker. That's so much of how it is sometimes. Like, if you're really doing polyamory correctly, having 2 partners or whatever sounds like a lot of fun from the outside, but it's also having 2 partners. You know what I mean? It's like, That's like one partner with all of their emotional needs and another partner with all of their emotional needs. And if you're doing it correctly, you should be invested in those, right? Which is difficult. I think I've touched on the show too, just like, you know, I'm working a lot, I'm moving up in my career, but that comes with a lot of extra responsibilities. My ADHD has never ever been medicated, so I am just fucking raw dogging life. And also we didn't touch on this earlier, but I found out that like for the last 5 months, my estrogen has been through the fucking roof, like in the 600s, which is crazy. And I was like, wow, this explains so much, because like the amount of like spaciness that I experience and the like emotional volatility is fucking crazy. So yeah, this one is on my liked for sure. This is definitely one of the ones that I added.
I've wondered this before, but how does ADHD affect your work?
On one hand, it's kind of a perfect marriage, because like archaeology is a different thing every day. It's also a lot of it's like 6 or 7 different fields in a trench coat saying that it's one thing. So there's like always something new. There's like always like new skills to learn and like little fixations to like follow and chase. It's active. It's not in an office, which is really nice. But also, like, there's a lot of paperwork that goes into it, and the higher up you get in the field, the more of the paperwork you have to do. And that is the part that's killing me right now, because it's like the last thing I want to do after I've worked 10 hours is go back to my hotel room and work one more just on my laptop. That sounds like a fucking nightmare. Check all my emails. Are you kidding me? Like... It's a blessing, but then, you know, it's still a job. So, you know, you're going to have typical struggles with it.
I can't imagine having spiked levels for 5 months. That is so wild to me.
I'm doing great.
I mean, despite it all... Look.
So I think what happened is I switched to injections. They usually start you at like a pretty decently high dose, because like everyone's injection dose is different. And because of my job, I'm always in bumfucking nowhere, right? I kept pushing my like dates to like do checkups and things. So they just kept me at the same dose for months, and I think that's what did it. So it was just like, you know, I really should have been doing a smaller dose of injections, but I, you know, fuck it, we ball. I was like all over Texas, all over Oklahoma, digging holes and shit. And it just fucked me up, I think. And, you know, I wish I could say I have had like better, faster results out of it, but no, I mean, pretty like still results, but like, you know, like same pace. Like the one thing that was frustrating is I was like, I've been dieting and I've like barely lost any weight. It's like, what's going on? Like, well, you know, you have 4 times the estrogen of a 16-year-old girl at the peak of puberty, babe. That's what's going on.
Oh, wow. God damn. Yeah. I hope they delivered the news to you like that too, with the babe and everything too. Just, you know.
No, they were very clinical about it, as they tend to be, but that's fine.
Now on to another one that was very, probably like leading single aside from Sex with Death is Voices in My Phone, which touches on the misogyny and the sexism when it comes to people just bagging on female rappers, and also specifically taking issue with Change's voice.
It's really an anti-men song, to be very, very specific. Like, she's very specifically like, we should kill all men. We should... like...
The part I have specifically quoted, yeah, I mean, let's just fucking ride this out. Because I think the line before was just like, I'm everything you wish you could be. And then she goes into, a girl who kissed girls and I got a dick, boobs on my chest and I treat you like a prick. I don't shut the fuck up like all the other chicks that you like, standing here with pride to be a tranny fucking dyke, riding on your bitch like she be riding on my bike, making money out of these songs you dislike, saving queer kids and inspiring your wives to say, fuck you, I'm out, we don't need no more guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then there's a line lyric of like 100% of the women want me to cut your fucking throat or some shit. Like, god damn.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that she played this at on the tour she did with Damage.
Oh.
And when like it was like a new song, you know, so like no one had heard it yet because it wasn't released. And when she said standing here with pride to be a tranny fucking dyke, I just like looked at mutual friend Beatrice, and we were just like, what the fuck? It went so hard. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh shit. That's fucking awesome. I love that shit. What do you think of this one?
I have some thoughts on it that, you know, are very speculative. I remember that like before she played this, she made a comment on stage about she's wary of a lot of like the men in the audience, you know what I mean? Like, and she like has her eyes on them in like a like dangerous kind of way. Men are trash, obviously, but also, you know, I gotta say, like for me, like as a more of a trans buy-in, you know, as they say, as I say constantly. I don't relate to it as much just because like I'm like kill all men, but you know some of them are cute. You know what I mean?
No, I mean you're right. Like I'm more towards to Change's viewpoint here, or at least vantage point. My enjoyment, so to speak, is way more passing than yours, we'll just say. But yeah, like I understand being weary because, like, especially like I'm sure, and I don't want to put words in Change's mouth, and who knows, maybe this is something we can get more clarity on at a later date. I imagine when you're a trans musician and you have an audience that is largely made up of trans people, because that's the audience that you have tried to make for yourself, you want it to be a safe space. And you want to cultivate it to be as welcoming and to really like not have that be I guess a distraction from things or an added thing to worry about. I think if you are a cis man going to a Change show, you should expect that. I think,
like you're a guest, babe. Like
yeah. You are a guest, act accordingly. Fuck around, find out kind of deal of like, you know, we let you into this space. Like, don't take that for granted. Like I think it's like, I could see how it might seem a little, you know, I guess like intimidating or whatever, but like, like keeping your eye on them, I think is always a good idea. I've been in spaces where it's largely trans women, and I've had a very similar vibe of cis men that just show up, and I'm immediately like, you're lurking. They give off a certain vibe, and I'm not saying they as in all cis men in these scenarios, but I feel like, and I mean, I'll just say like, having had that prior lived experience as, you know, as pretending or living as a guy, so to speak, you're easier to pick up on those vibes, I think. You can read body language a little bit better. You could just kind of gauge the scenario a little bit better than maybe a cis woman might. Because again, we've talked about like a song that just played earlier in the day, fucking Drinking with the Jocks. You spent time, so to speak, behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
You've read their playbook, you know, like, you know
what they talk about when they think they're alone. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that makes us a little more weary, and a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a little more suspect.
Yeah, and like, you know, like when I flirt with guys, a lot of times the positionality that I take is that I just like constantly like berate them, and like I constantly criticize them, you know what I mean? Like
how so?
Well, I mean, it varies person to person, right? You know, but I'm just like, I'm constantly like on their ass. Like I'm just like, a lot of them like that, but I also kind of like establish the sort of like terms of engagement, you know, very quickly that way. Only other thing I have to say about this song, you know, I think being wary of like guys, especially like cis guys, you know, like in these spaces is important. But also, I hate to say it, but like you also gotta be wary of some trans girls, okay? Like,
oh sure,
that's like another thing I like. It obviously this song is like a very particular like song that's like it's oriented towards like discussing like the danger of men who do pose a great danger. But they are not the only ones in or around trans spaces that, you know, pose a danger. So you should be wary of that.
This in particular is also like just like about the guys in the comment section that are being dicks to her specifically, like
very specifically, yes.
Yeah, like I think she uses it as an opportunity to talk about men in a greater scope, just as an attack on general misogyny. Which, again, just also kind of makes it easier for people like us who maybe haven't had the same experience about having shitty guys in our comment sections. You know? Not everyone's going to have the same experience, but we've all dealt with misogyny in some way, whether it was direct or indirect.
Change is pretty popular, so, like, she probably gets a lot of horrible comments from very, very shitty men. The inspiration for this song is definitely that. And then it ends with her saying, "Shut the fuck up about my voice." Like, hell yeah. Oof. I relate to that. Like, I remember like there's a guy I work with who like made fun of my voice at one point, and I was like, boy, you have no fucking idea, like, what I go through. You know what I mean? Or, like, the work I put into my voice and, like, the concessions I have to make about it. And it's a point of deep insecurity. And there's also not a lot that can be done about it. You know what I mean? Don't fucking say that to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he meant it as, like, a joke. And I was like, no, that's not fun. That's, like, that's really bad. You should feel bad about that.
I'll straight up say this, and I've mentioned it to you. I've tweeted it about it. I think at least once in all 20 episodes we've done of the show, in editing it, I've thought, wow, I hate my voice. It's usually in comparison to yours or a guest we have on, but let's just be 100% for real, all things on the table. I'm not doing shit about it. So if I want to get mad at anybody, it's going to have to be myself.
I'm sorry that you feel like so insecure about your voice. I think your voice is very pretty.
I do appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Of course. I also, like, one of my least favorite parts of re-listening to the episodes is my voice. So I feel like that's kind of just, maybe not universal, but a quite common experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, not every trans woman have a podcast where they listen to their voice back.
That's true. We are listening to hours and hours of us talking. Like,
but yeah, like, we are in a potentially unique situation here. Like, I know more and more trans women have podcasts now.
We're getting into the market. We're flooding the market. Let's do it.
We got in early, I think.
So true.
We've already got a back catalog. I think we're sitting pretty.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm at a drive-thru at a fast food place, or if a random guy I don't know at work approaches me and asks for, like, where something is, I will put on a little bit of, like, an affected kind of just, like, a little higher, a little bit more femme, just in that, like, okay, this is someone who might, you know, this might affect their opinion of me. I want to set the good first impression in case we might have other encounters. That sounds bad. I don't mean that in any kind of...
No. That's,
you know what I mean as an encounter.
Interactions, not encounters. Yeah.
Thank you. But, like, for 2 hours, usually... Like, I can't keep that up for 2 hours. There's no fucking way.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And I would rather it be clocky and natural than very effeminate and unnatural sounding.
I'm very weary of that too. Like, when people say, like, don't go too high, that's definitely something I keep in the back of my mind. On to the next track here, we got Caretaker.
This one is so interesting. It's so different from other Change songs. Like, other than the first song, a lot of these other songs have been different in the production and the composition than a lot of Change's, like, discography. This one is very different in a cool way. I like it.
Travelers, my thoughts can't be rooted. Going places, been praying to be stupid so I can just fucking exist. Look, first of all, that's a part I can relate to very strongly.
Yeah.
Like the ignorance is bliss kind of mentality of just like, if you don't know how shitty the world is, you can kind of act like it isn't for a little bit. You never forget, you know, it's always in the back of your mind, but it's nice to tune out sometimes. Yeah, I'm tired of getting broken by such simple sentences like, change, have you been? Oh well, can't imagine. With a few words, the mind's shaked. Never-ending train wreck. I'm feeble like a snowflake, and I fiddle till my nails break. Edible, I tried to take. Made it worse to function. What's feasible, I can't tell. Loops in action. I don't know if you've noticed, but like if I'm messaging you or someone, I've specifically say like, I hope your day is going well, or something like that. I try to lean away from like, how's your day been? I know I do sometimes, but like, I don't know. I just know some people can be like, don't ask me that.
I also deeply relate to that. Like, not the first part of the verse, but the second, where it's like you're getting into these like loops of like doing repetitive actions and you feel stuck. That's like big thing that I experience with like my ADHD is I get stuck in things really often. And it's kind of getting worse, which is why, especially as I'm like doing more and more in my life, which is why like I really, really want to like start getting medicated for ADHD, because like I want to not get stuck like that anymore. And it sucks sometimes because it's like I'll be like, okay, I need to take a shower because I was sweating outside all day. Mm-hmm. And then I'll sit there and I'll scroll on my phone. Oh, God. Or like I'll chase a little thing here and like do a little thing there, and I won't shower. And then it's like an hour later and I'm like, fuck, I really got to get to bed. And then I do shower and then I'm like, okay, cool, great, I did that. But then I'm like, but now I need to do my skincare. And then it's the same fucking loop again. The chorus touches on that a little bit too, where it says like watching a meme over and over. Also the chorus, Changeline sings. She like actually sings. She sings the hook. That's
right. Yes.
Yes. And she's like, I flee. It's like, it's very, and like, it's nice. Like, I like it, you know?
I don't know if there was something meant by this in particular, but like the way that the lyrics, or not the lyrics, but the song titles are stylized, all the tracks are in uppercase, except for Caretaker and the Appreciate the Moment, a little spoken word clip, the like 20-second interlude. And there definitely is a vulnerability on this song that does set it apart from the other ones, that does kind of be embodied by the lowercase. And like, in addition to the singing on the chorus, song's got a sick fucking guitar solo that ends it.
Yes!
Like,
it's so
goddamn. And there's like a guest vocalist on it too. This, this song is so, I mean, you know, they're all good, but goddamn, this one really sets it apart because of how different it is.
Yeah, it's a very different vibe, and I want her to explore this more too. I think this is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Now can I quote this part of the song Elevate?
Oh my god, let's go. Let's do it. Elevate.
I'ma kill my dick and stream on demand Netflix clickbait. They can't comprehend. Sick of feeling bad when it gets freaky in the bed. Yeah, I want that wet hole in between my legs. Yeah, I want no more ball bumping in my head. Want to be taken from the front without needing to bend. Just for the pleasure, though, I'm already a 10. Nah, you won't ever lick it, bro. No need to beg.
And then the first thing she talks about is wanting bottom surgery. So it's like, okay, interesting. All right. Interesting first thing to discuss here, Change. Go for it, girl.
Look, like, the only times I've ever thought about wanting bottom surgery in that way in particular is when it comes down to sex, to just make it easier.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's not that big of a deal for me. It's just kind of whatever. I just deal with it. The balls have got to go, though. I will say that much. Like, the dick can stay. I don't have bottom dysphoria in that way. It's whatever. And I don't hate the balls aesthetically, but they just get in the fucking way. They have got to go. They are cramping my style.
Exactly, literally. And it's funny that you said like the only time you think about bottom surgery is like around like sex, because I never think about it around sex. I am like totally fine with my current hardware, but the time I do think about it is when I'm trying to wear shorts or something, or like a bodycon dress, right? And I'm like, God damn it. Like, to me, it's more just that like tucking is so difficult for me. Otherwise, I'm fine. But I don't know, you know, like I go back and forth. I think I probably want an orky, but that's probably it. I don't know. They're already fucking useless. You know what I mean? It's like,
exactly.
You know, I've been on estrogen long enough at this point. These things are not doing literally anything. They're just a waste of space.
If they're not adding to the aesthetic, why are they even there?
Well, also the chorus, she kind of circles back on it. She's like, severe lack of pussy for me. No more, cannot wait. Which, yeah, it kind of like circles back on the thing. Let's talk about verse 2.
I'm a fuck all the internet, forget about the first time we met, I was 14, now I'm pristine, now my mind clean, now I'm still so mean, to my old self like I lost my time, shameless, never-ending game grind, and it turned out fine, I'm a cute butch, I'm a cute butch, I'm a cute futch. Hey.
It's
like,
fun, yeah.
The little affectation on futch of just been like the little wink to the like, you catch that?
She does that like Changeline thing that like she does in other songs where she goes woo, like she like raises her voice like a little bit. It's very cute.
This one was a little confusing for me.
The truth and only truth?
This is definitely one I'm gonna have to ask exactly what is going on, because there are some very interesting things going on, but I'm not exactly sure because it starts by saying socially awkward bitch on her extrovert era. I swear to God. Like, which again, by the way, big same. Look, a friend of the show, Lexi, Carolina Phoenix, and
yes.
I were along with Neb at a trans clothing swap very recently. We brought a bunch of clothes, and we were also like trying to work a vendor table, but there were a lot of points where Neb had to go off and help with sorting the clothes, and I was left behind to kind of operate the table if anyone came up and wanted to look at some art or buy anything. Someone came up, and I was talking to them pretty easily, someone I didn't know, I've never met before, but I just kind of immediately went into just talking my shit, right? I sat back down and I kind of offhandedly mentioned to Lexi something to the effect of like, you get to see my masking firsthand or something like that. It was something that she had mentioned to me of just like, because we've been to a few events now and she's like, you talk to people so easily and like you make friends really easily. And that's extremely new for me. Like being able to just kind of connect with people really quick. Yeah. And I think that definitely is the socially awkward leaning more towards extrovert now, because I would never in my life consider myself an extrovert. Like, I think in that instance, I don't think I was giving myself enough credit by saying that, like, oh, you get to see my masking firsthand. I don't think it is masking anymore. I think I'm just good at it now.
It's tough to say, right? Because, like, not to, you know, toot my own horn or anything, but I was always quite popular, charismatic, you know?
Okay.
Not really so much in high school, but like I definitely sort of like cultivated that in college a lot more, especially after college, you know, like people liked me, responded to me very well, but it would always be hard for me to like have conversations with people and to connect with them because I didn't feel connected to myself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I definitely relate to that part where it's like you kind of come to connect like with yourself a bit more. I think like a lot of the song is just like, it's more of a vibe song. It's more of a like I don't know if there's like maybe we'll get a second-hand you know, opinion of
perhaps
this,
some
but
further insight.
Yeah, I think honestly I think this song is like one of those songs that's just like, it's like one like sick one-liner after another. Steer the wiener, I'm a eater. Like, that's so fun.
I'm reading this along, right? Because I know there's something here. I know there's something going on here because, like, it starts, your greatest fear is just a mirror. What you need ain't bigger. Color in the palette makes it brighter in my thinker. Hey, you like it me, none. You want a lover that do not ask and only gives. And it's like, okay, we're talking to a very specific person. And the greatest
Possibly
fear
herself.
is just... Very possible, yeah. But, like, the greatest fear is just a mirror. What you need ain't bigger. It's like, okay. And then later, it's hard. Bitch, I really like it when I make her dick hard. When she done with me, I know my neck gon' be scarred. Fucking outside, we hit in my backyard, lowered my guard when I showed her my lard.
I really like when I make her dick hard. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel that. And then I gotta say, okay, talk about excellent one-liners that we've discussed in this podcast. Feeling she hermaphrodite might be, like, even higher than, two's company but three's o'clock. I think this one might just be above that one.
Look, if anyone is going to take the fucking crown from Amy Armstrong, I'm so glad it's changed. But I will say, like, this is specifically why I think there's something going on here, because we do get the feeling she hermaphrodite, and then later, faster walker, I'm outside, always sail, faster than ever with your lust for that she-male. So it's like, okay, we're using she-male and hermaphrodite, which are both problematic phrases.
Yeah, but they're based. They're cool. I don't know.
I think it's a hint to something deeper, because then it goes, fake boys and fake fucks, fake it just to fuck, need to fucking uppercut those motherfuckers so they pass out, lots of fuckery, a parody, I'm sick of joking out, acting really silly so it buries my doubt. I think this is kind of like a chaser kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely possible, yeah.
A song about dealing with because, like, where else do you see the word she-male besides in fucking porn? And people who don't fucking know our whole thing and know that that's a fucked up thing you don't actually call us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I'd say it in jokes to other trans women about myself.
Context is important.
Yeah, fake boys and fake fucks, fake it just to fuck. Yeah. I think, yeah, it probably is about chasers. But it's also such a vibe, I don't know.
That's the thing, like, if you can tell, it's a trans woman using these words as, again, we were talking about reclamation being a theme, and it's like the way you use terms. You're using them as jokes, as terms of endearment.
Yeah, reclamation.
Reclamation, you've often talked about the, like, using self-deprecation as kind of like a shield. It's
like the 8 Mile thing. Like, you get in front of what people are thinking by saying a joke about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, then when you get that angry verse about the fake boys, it's like, and especially when she says, I'm not joking anymore, or whatever, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm sick of joking out, acting silly, so it buries my doubt. It's like, okay. And then later it says, girl dick supremacy.
Which, again, based.
I think is specifically a call out of just like, we don't need these chasers, girl dick supremacy.
Okay, Change, I hear you, but also, men fuck really good and differently than women, just saying.
Look, I know.
I would prefer there to be, like, trans women specifically, but I'm also often in Colorado City, Texas. Can you imagine how many trans women are in Colorado City, Texas?
Sure.
There are a couple of chasers there. Just saying.
And look, if you say they're good at it, then I'm not about to argue, you know? Like, especially if that's all you're trying to get out of the situation, then who am I to tell you that, you know, you're getting what you're looking for out of it, right?
Yeah, the line like, oh, you love a dummy, me go down easy, like, yeah, that's relatable. Like, they don't really want you to, like, you know, be anything other than, like, you know, a moment for them.
I mean, you've mentioned that before of just like, which again, no shame, because we're all out here for different things. We all have different goals. But you said something to the line of like, just laugh at their stupid jokes and whatever. Just like, if the end game is fucking, just put up with their bullshit.
Yeah, but I also get, like, I do get, like, Change's perspective where it's just like, fuck this, you know? But also, like, she lives in Paris, France, and I live in Paris, Texas. So,
yeah,
you know, we're kind of working with different rosters of people, you know
exactly,
what I mean?
Yeah. Then, is Up in the Bay the next one?
Yes.
Up in the Bay walks the line between confidence and self-reflection, exploring the tensions between staying true to yourself and seeking validation. The Bridge's key question, am I really good or just doing this for the fame, captures the inner conflict of pursuing success without losing sight of who you are. Meanwhile, the chorus I thought was just a play off of fucking a woman, right? Like,
I just want to be up in the Bay. Yeah, of course. Like,
I mean, especially the way it ends, which I love how Genius writes this out, by the way. Yeah, I just want to be up in my bay, if you see what I mean. And then it's just a fucking key smash in the official Genius quote, just ha ha, and then it's just a key smash.
Oh my god.
But then you actually listen to it, and there's like really angry parts of it, where it's like,
yeah,
wow, okay, fuck.
We get a little bit more of like classic Change sort of like vibes, especially in the parts that are like a lot more screamy, and especially with the themes of like wanting to, you know, explore new things, but also stay true to yourself. That's a very interesting like compositional way to express that too.
And there's also the kind of just them toying with the duality of like the meanings here, like specifically, I don't need no one. I'm sick of waiting for their call. Shouldn't need a gun, but I might cop it for the fall. I do need the sun catching me out there on a date. I don't need my girl, but I want her inside my state. Catch a difference? What I want and what I need ain't no synonyms. What you say and what you mean can be opposites.
So fucking true.
I know I sound mean, but we do not fit. I just want to be up in the bay. What you need might not be what you want in that instance, and what you want might not be what you need.
Yeah, for example, what I want is a brand new situationship that I can just invest all of my time into, but what I need is therapy.
It's not that. Therapy.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Therapy. Yeah. Look, earlier when you said raw dogging life, that's exactly how I literally had that exact same thought earlier today when my ass is seriously out here. No therapy, no medication. Like, I am just flying by the seat of my pants, not knowing what exactly, because I'm not diagnosed with stuff either, and who knows, maybe right now, maybe that's, you know, maybe that's preferable. I don't know.
True, especially with the fucking brainworm boy in the administration.
You never fucking know. But, like, I know the things that give me trouble. Like, I don't know if it's ADHD, but, like, y'all probably can tell how long it takes me to edit an episode. It shouldn't take that long. But I get distracted pretty easily. That leads to, episodes take a little longer to get out. And, like, it's something I like doing. Like, I enjoy editing the show. I want the episode out. I want people to listen to it. But yeah, sometimes that's just hard.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, no, I don't agree. I'm perfect. I never get distracted. Everything I said before was, I was just lying for a bit.
It was a good bit.
Yeah.
You got the whole crew laughing. Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't so funny. Yeah, I'm perfect. No, of course I agree. I mean, like, as we mentioned in a similar, like, recent episode, it takes us a while to get these podcasts out because sometimes I am way too distracted with other bullshit, you know, and it's hard for me to, like, keep to commitments and things like that, right? Like recording with you, you know, which is why, like, even though my life is on fire right now, I was like, we have to do this podcast because I want to talk about this record. I want to do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the song says, you know, sometimes what you want and what you need are opposites, right? What you say and what you mean are different things.
So we're rounding out home here. We got Change Part 2, which does repeat a lot of the same things from Change Part 1, the I can and will change.
But also, like, this one is so much more expressive, and it sort of, like, brings the record together in a pretty big way. So, for example, there was the song, like, Sex with Death. There's been, like, hints at, like, much darker undertones. And in this one, she literally says, like, New Year's, new rules, been abused, and thought of a tight noose around my neck. I've been thinking about the end, and I'm accepting how I'll be leaving the scene, self-deleting. And that's quite dark.
There was an EP that came out before this, Teardrops on a Book Page, that came out in 2024. The last song on that album, Everything, Everywhere, and Fuck You, a really interesting juxtaposition where it's almost like a Midwest emo kind of instrumental. There's just, like, the guitar plucking, very much like the intro to that fucking American football song. You know the one.
Oh, of course.
And in the background, literally, like, not even really on mic, just, like, in the room, she's kind of ad-libbing, talking about this past relationship, how fucked up it was, how abusive the situation was. And yeah, it's a really rough listen because it's so incredibly raw. Like, you can tell this was not written. This is just her expressing her rage about this situation and how badly it went.
Yeah.
And there's a lot carries over here. I imagine Sex with Death is a direct reference. This, I imagine, is a direct reference. As well as the next song, obviously. The next song, definitely. I think it's so interesting how this song, Change Part 2, just after they're repeating change, I can and I will, there's just this lull, and then it's just, oh, you thought it was over? And then it hits you with the goddamn 6-minute final title track, The Draw of a New Shape, which I think if we were to summarize this last track, it really is just like the culmination of the can and will change of the drawing of a new shape, like how I'm gonna come out of this, how it shaped me, quite literally. The intro specifically, there's like this sample where it says, think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly? And, like, we can fucking relate to that in our goddamn transition. Like, at the very least, like, you don't know. Like, you literally have no idea how it is going to go when you start. Like, it really is just a leap of faith. And, like, it's a leap you know you have to make regardless.
Yeah, and, like, she gets into, like, her dad, like, you know why he slacks? He never wanted 2 daughters. He needs his vision of you back. That line hurts. But then, you know, there's a lot of these dark moments, but then there's like a constant turn back to the positive in a lot of these moments, you know? She says, like, I love myself very clearly.
It cuts off a line in mid-line. Fuck, it's been a long verse. Open up and finally clean your... And then it just cuts off and she's, I love myself. And it's like, whoa. It really is like you notice that and you're like, whoa.
Absolutely. It's like a cool way to like round out the record too, because it's like there's been a lot of these like really dark moments, especially the last song. But then it's like, well, you change. It's very interesting. It like touches on these transgender themes. It touches on these like other themes of like growing up and taking more charge of your life. I particularly like the way that it addresses the darkness, but then turns it and is like, but you know, you love yourself. We're up on it.
Kind of goes back to the voices on my phone part. I know I'm a riddle to you, boy. I won't deny it. Change. Ain't giving a fuck about the noise. I'm reshaping it. Change. Ain't giving a fuck about your world. I'm reclaiming it. Change. Ain't giving a fuck about your words. I'm reclaiming it. And then just from there, just that fucking bump that shit, curb stomp that rich bitch. I'm not a good fit if you wanna be chill. It's like, wow, yeah, like, really brings it home with just that, like, in your fucking face, fuck you type energy, and just ending with, you'll never be me.
Finally got faith into the draw of a new shape, the eponymous line, if you will. And, you know, honestly, that's, like, so relatable. And I think this is, like, a good record for us to discuss, like, at the current moment I'm in my transition, I think. Because, like, I'll say it, you know, I've been doing some clout chasing, you know? I've been, like, trying to, like, go to things to, like, for really no other reason than to, like, increase my own, like, notoriety, right?
Sure.
You know, I've in the process listened to a lot of new voices. Not all of them are good. But, you know, a part of that is just because, like, you know, for me, like, it's like after, like, the pink haze wore off, I didn't really know where to go or, like, what to do. And I felt so overwhelmed by things. So I just, like, tried to find people who, like, seemed like they knew what they were doing. What I discovered was that no one knows what they're doing.
A lot of it is just a lot of, like, people who just think they know. But then if you ask them enough questions, eventually, yeah, you kind of get to the same thing of just like, we're all just bullshitting it.
Yeah, they sort of reveal that, yeah. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, bringing it full circle, I went to my mom and I asked her for help because it was like, I mean, who do daughters go to, like, when they have questions about femininity and things like that? Their mothers. And I have a always improving relationship with my mother. So, like, and that was the most helpful thing. And that has, you know, that, and then, like, feeling more comfortable with myself and, like, learning things the way that I want to learn them has given me faith in the draw of a new shape in a very powerful way. And, like, I feel very energized, if terrified, of the future, where it's like, I feel like I finally have, like, a real handle on the wheel and I know the path, but I know it's gonna fucking suck to get there. But, you know, I have my hands on the steering wheel, you know what I mean? And that, this song is like a closer for this record, really feels like that, you know?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it really is, like, nothing is certain. You know, like,
absolutely.
In your transition, nothing is certain. In your career as a musician, nothing is certain. Like, everything is fickle. Fans can be fickle. The scene can be fickle. The industry can be fickle.
Girls
can be fickle. You just gotta. The only person you could really have the most faith in is yourself, and just to rely on yourself to get through it.
Yeah, 100%.
Only you know what you need, you know, and you might not know how to get it, but yeah, no one is going to be able to tell you how to get what you need, because they might not know what you need. You just got to listen to yourself, really. Just as an album by someone that we respect and we've listened to for a while now, it's hard for me not to go into, like, reviewer mode, because I'm already saying, oh, it's solid, no skips, like, solid recommendation. But, like, really, like, it has a lot to say. Like, it
does.
And I think as, like, a personal introspective, I think it's, like, it's definitely some of the most, like, personal, reflective stuff. And, like we've talked about on the show before when we talk about albums, like, not all of it deals with being trans. A lot of it is about, like, outward perception.
Yeah.
Not how we feel about ourselves, but dealing with how people see us and how people feel about us. And how it might not be, you know, people on Twitter talking about, you know, our voice and saying that we're not good rappers or whatever. But, like, you're always going to have people who are critics, but they're not in good faith. Like, you're always going to have dickhead transphobes in your comments being mean for no reason, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Or people who think you could be transitioning better or do femininity better or something. But yeah, you just gotta tell them to fuck off and suck your dick.
yeah, you just gotta stand here with pride to be a tranny fucking
dyke.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, Moth, but I'm feeling she, her hermaphrodite, you know?
Oh, God. Okay, do me a favor, Siobhan. Don't tweet that. Don't tweet that.
I want to so bad.
I know you do. And I don't... Look, here's the thing. I'll know the I'll know the context. I'll know it's funny. I don't know if everyone's gonna think it's funny.
Look, sometimes I tweet bad on purpose. It's called follower cultivation, okay? You gotta...
Oh, is that what that is? Is this the dynamics we're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I never do it by accident. I never feel bad about it. I never delete my posts. I'm perfect.
Never, not once.
Yep, not even a single time.
I just took my prog and I need to take a shower because it is late.
So true.
I want to thank you so much for sticking with us. And we are on such a fucking enormous roll. And I think, not to go too inside because a lot of the stuff we cut out, but like I think there was a little bit of a setback personally for me. But
can we touch on that for 1 second? Just because I think it's really interesting in the context of this record.
Yeah.
This is a rap record.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been getting a little more lyrical with it, you know? That works really well for pop. That works really well for some of the more indie stuff that we've covered recently. But rap is very wordy, and it takes a long time to cover. And also, you did a podcast for 10 years with The Rap Critic that just ended. Change, you can and will.
Hey, you know, you're damn right.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent point.
This is not going off. This is she, they, just like me for real, okay?
Yes. It is a different show, and the vibe is entirely different. Yeah. And I want to approach it in a different way, because I didn't reach out to you to do another going off. Like, that's not what I want the show to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is the show where every episode we talk about the smell of our balls, babe. Like, mine are real pungent today. What could I say?
In the tradition, look, I don't know about mine personally. I'm sure I'm about to find out. So I'm sorry, everyone, that I can't tell you right now. I'm terribly sorry. Hold on, fucking.
Oh my God, no! Stop.
Never mind.
Scale of 1 to 10. What are we talking?
Okay, well, for 1, it was a pit check, and maybe like a 3. Honestly, not a whole lot going on. Yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
I love you so much, Mom.
I love you too, Siobhan. What other show, folks, are you gonna come across this? By the way,
yeah.
I love doing this show, and it's for these reasons, and like these real-time realizations also. Like, I think this episode also kind of doubles as a little bit of an experiment.
Yeah.
To see how we do with rap albums. And we found out it was a little bit challenging.
It's hard.
And that's not any fault of Change. But I had a very similar issue with the Damage album. No fault of Damages either.
Yeah, those are two of our favorite musicians, so it's like...
Yeah, like, absolutely no disrespect. Nothing but love for both of them. I pre-ordered the CD copy of this album weeks ago, so I'm very excited to have it in the collection. And I'll share it on the collection Twitter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. We greatly appreciate you spending your time with us wherever you are, whatever you're doing when you listen to the show. If you're at work, you're at home, you're in the shower, you're going to bed. We're glad that we're a part of your life and that you are a fan and that you support us and that you like hearing us talk for however long about whatever it is we want to talk about, and that you want to hear our thoughts so much. It means a lot. And Absolutely. It means a lot to me to do this show. I know we say it all the time, but the show means a lot to me, and I'm glad that we are on such a roll, but no pressure to keep up the roll. Like, I think, you know, if we need to take a break or if we need to slow it down a little bit, that's fine too, because I don't want us to get burnt out either.
That's so true. But I believe in the adage, no days off. I'm totally joking. We'll play it by ear. But yeah, I've loved discussing this with you. It was really fun to have so many off mic moments in this too. Like that was a really cool thing. And I'm sure it's going to be really fun for you to edit later. But
oh, absolutely, it'll be a blast.
Yeah, but to our listeners, I have just one thing to say, and that is, stay strong, bitches.
Stay strong, bitches.